Hello, I'm Henry John Griffin, and today I'm going to be doing a video series to tell you that I hate it when my dad ignores me when I'm trying to ask him a question about computers. I hate it when my dad ignores me when I'm trying to ask him a question about computers. I hate it when my dad ignores me when I'm trying to ask him a question about computers. Now think about this. You got to be real about that, because I told Grandma that Kessler Group homes don't hit people with spoons and they don't hit people with belts. But Grandma said, yes, they do. It's real and you got to accept that. Well, I'm not going to accept that. I'm going to just sit there and pretend like it's not real. I'm not going to accept that they whoop people in group homes or they whoop people at the Kessler. I'm not accepting that. If I go to a Kessler Group home, I'm not going to get whooped. And that's final. And if they put their hands on me, they're going to get sued and go to jail. I'm not falling for my dad not talking to me about computers, okay? I'm not falling for this, and this is real. Understand what Katherine Johnson was. Katherine was the first computer that performed, that made calculations for the men engineers to create airplanes and flight planes. Okay? And people who made calculations, they were called computers because they made calculations for the airplane, for the engineers to create airplanes and flight planes. Just remember, I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you the honest to God truth. Computer topics that he does not want to talk about is the human computer topics. Are any kind of computer topic. Computer topics that he does not want to talk about are the human computer topics, and he ignores it because he thinks that it doesn't make sense. He thinks that he thinks that he does not know what a human computer is. Well, guess what? I know what a human computer is. A human computer is a person that performs calculations. Because the human brain is a computer. We talked about that. The human brain is a computer. The person computes. They write the calculations down on a piece of paper, and they invented the computer. The human brain is a computer. The human brain is a computer. It processes information and computes. Just remember, people made all of the calculations. People made all of the mathematical calculations that they performed. People made all of the mathematical calculations that they performed in the whole wide world. People made all of the mathematical calculations that they performed. They were called computers. They were. They were called computers. They made calculations and they performed those calculations and they performed those tasks. They were called computers. I'm going to keep it real with you. They were a lot called computers that I ever thought they made calculations. Many people made those calculations, and I'm going to tell you something about these calculations. Daddy can care less about not talking to me about computers, not understanding what the people who performed calculations were, because my dad does not understand what Katherine was as a computer. Like I said, Katherine was a computer. Katherine was a computer. A computer called Katherine. Katherine is a computer. That's a part of the understanding that I just put that on. Katherine was the first computer that performed the calculations on the sideboards of the human computer. Okay? I'm going to keep it real with you about the 1940s. Same thing with the 1940s. In the 17th century, computers did not exist, so we have people doing all these calculations, performing all these calculations. It's amazing that people can do that with their minds, and they can write those calculations down on a piece of paper and figure out how to invent the electronic computer, and figure out how to invent the electronic computer. Now let's talk about the electronic computers. The electronic computers are also topics that are being ignored by the father and electronic computer versus human computer getting ignored by the father. And they're probably the same. You can compare these. A human computer and an electronic computer probably can be the same because they both compute and they perform calculations. But once again, electronic computers have wires. Human computers perform calculations without any sort of wiring or algorithms to perform those calculations. Human computers have a sort of program that you can write down on a piece of paper if you are being a human computer. Just remember, if you are a human computer, you can perform all these calculations yourself. You can perform all these calculations and then have someone invent the first digital electronic machine. But just remember, this is all for you guys to understand that a computer is a word to describe someone who computes. Okay? A person that computes. A person who computes. And if a person computes, then a person is a computer. If your brain computes, then your brain is a computer. What are you if you compute? Your brain is a computer. That's the answer. What are you if you compute? That's right, a computer. You perform calculations, you compute tasks, all that stuff. Just remember, those kinds of computers are way different from electronic computers because electronic computers have wires and human computers just have brains and brains to solve these problems and all that stuff, to understand what computers were like back in the day. People doing math, performing these complex calculations and performing mathematical calculations because they made calculations for the battle of war, when the human computers can be such a real thing when it seems real, because it seems real to me, it seems true to me. They call those people computers because they made calculations for the airplane, they made calculations for the engineers to create airplanes and flight planes. That's just what I said. That's the end of this video. I will not even have to. I don't want to have to explain to my dad again about what the first human computer or human or person who performed the calculation was. Okay, I will look it up. My dad is ignoring me, and I cannot go in the house and ask him, or else he's going to use corporal punishment. If I hit him in the face, he's going to use corporal punishment. I'll look up what a human computer is. I will look up what the human computer was. I'll look it up. I'll look it up. I will not talk to him if he's going to ignore me. I will not ask him any questions because he's ignoring me. I'll look it up. I will look it up. I will look it up. I don't got to worry about nothing. I'll just look it up.